So our week 2 topic is going to be on slope. So I'll go through a few of the topics about slope, and then we'll take a look at any examples that we want to take a look at. Okay, so first thing to understand, what is slope? Okay, when we talk about slope, we're basically talking about how steep a line is. Okay, so like when we draw a line, no matter where you stand on that line, it would always have the same steepness. So if you're standing here or you're standing here, the steepness would feel the same to you. Now, if we talk about something that curves, well, that's different. Okay? If you were standing right here, how would the steepness feel right there? What do you think? Pretend like you were standing right where that X is. Oh, CJ, what do you think?
I don't know. Steep?
Steep? If you were standing right where that X is?
Yeah.
It's like the top of a hill, right? Kinda? So if you were standing like right at the very top of that hill,
Oh, top.
how would it feel?
Like you're high up.
How about like the steepness though? Like pretend we put a ball right there. What would happen to it if it was right at the very top of that hill?
Roll down.
Would it roll down if it was at the top of a hill? Put it right there and just place it carefully and then let it go. So if you put something right at the top of a hill that's shaped like that, it wouldn't do anything. It would stay right where it is, because it's not like you're putting the ball over here and letting it go, and then it would roll down this way. Or if you're putting it over here and letting it go, it would roll down that way. If you put something right at the very top of a hill's flat, okay? Like in this case. So when you have something that's curved, the slope can feel different depending on where you're standing. Standing right here, it's perfectly flat. Standing up here, it would feel like you're trying to go uphill. Standing over here, it would be like you're falling downhill. With a line, you don't have to worry about that. A line is exactly the same no matter where you stand. Okay? Same steepness everywhere. And that's what we're focusing on. Okay? Focusing on a line. There's two main kinds of slope. Okay? There's a line that slants up and slants down. Yep. A line that slants up and to the right looks like that. That's a positive slope line. If the line slants down to the right, that's a negatively sloped line. So now when we're finding the slope, there's a couple ways we can do it. They can give us a table, which we'll do some in a table in a little bit, or they could give us a graph. When you have a graph, you can count the rise and the run. The way you're going to be able to count is it's going to be on a grid, and you'll be able to count up how many or down how many, whichever way it is, and then to the right. If they don't give you a graph, you can use this formula. Okay? Yep, that's the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. These four values are going to come from the problem that I give you.
Sorry.
Okay, they're gonna come from what I give you. Is there any question on what the slope formula is? Now we'll try a few examples. So let's go to the back of that first page. And we're going to find the slope of that line using the graph. Okay. What was the formula that I said to use when you have a graph? It was rise over run. Yep. Rise over run. Okay. When you are finding the slope, okay, I always count to the right. Okay, that's the direction I always go. So I either, if I have 2 points like this, I count up and right. Or if I had 2 points like that, I count down and right. Okay, it's just a matter of how my line looks. To get from this dot to this dot, how many up do you have to go? Yeah, you're going to go up 2. And that amount we go up is my what in this formula?
Rise.
Yeah, perfect. That's my rise. So 2 is the rise. And then we have to count how many we go to the right. How many do we go to the right in that one? 3. And that 3 is my run. Perfect. That's my run. So now you put the 2 in the top, you put the 3 in the bottom, and the slope of that line is 2/3. Now, does this line slant up to the right or down to the right? Which way?
Up.
Yeah, this one goes up. And whenever something goes up to the right, should it be a positive slope or negative slope? Positive, right? So that's what we just said right here. When it goes up and to the right, that's a positive slope. Okay. Any question on finding the slope from a graph? All right, let's try another slope, but this time it's a table. Can someone remind me, what's the formula to find the slope? And this is the formula, not the rise over run. This is the other one.
Go back.
Yeah. Yep.
X of y2 minus x, y1,
Y2 minus Y1.
x2 minus y, x.
X2 minus X1. Yep. Okay. In order to find the slope, you need to write down 2 coordinates. How many coordinates did they give me in that table? Well, Caleb, how many coordinates did they give me in this table?
Like all together.
Yeah, how many pairs of coordinates? Yeah, how many coordinates? 4, right? They gave me 4. I only need 2. It doesn't matter which 2 you use, because this is a line. It's kind of like if I gave you these 4 points, and I said, tell me the slope if you stand here, 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 or here. It's the same everywhere. So we just have to pick 2. All right, can somebody give me a pair that they want to use? Yeah?
I have 2 pairs today.
Okay, what's one pair you used?
6 and 2.
6 and 2, all right.
And 8 and 4.
Perfect. That works fine. We're going to use the 6 and the 2, and we're going to use the 8 and the 4. Let's start with the 6. What's the 6? X1, X2, Y1, or Y2? That's X1. Yep. So X1. What about the 2? What's that going to be? Yeah. Y1, that's in the Y column. So that's your Y1. What about the 8? Micah, what's the 8 going to be?
X2.
Yeah, that's good. X2. Perfect. And how about Joe Smiley, what about the 4?
Repeat the question again?
What's the 4 going to be?
I'm sorry, what?
What is the 4? So we identified the 6, the 2, and the 8. Now we're just identifying the 4.
4 Y2.
That's going to be your Y2. So now, fill those numbers into our formula and see what we get. So a lot of times what I do is kind of write it out, and now I have room to fill everything in. what's going to go in the upper left box? Yep.
I was just wondering, if you understand what the
What's that? Yeah, just wait a minute, because we only got one question left, and then we'll be all done. What's going to go in the upper left box? Yep, y2, which is 4. How about the upper right box? 2, good. How about lower left box? 8. And what about the lower right box? 6. Okay, so let's see what we get. 4 minus 2 gives me how much? 2. And 8 minus 6? 2. Now, one thing about slope is if you get a fraction you can reduce, you should reduce that as much as you can. What's 2 divided by 2 give me? Yeah. 1. So this line has a slope of 1. So if I were to draw it, would it slant up to the right or would it go down to the right? Which way? Yeah, this would go up to the right. Look kind of like this one. So that's how you find slope from a table. Any question before we look at the last one? Okay, so the last one is kind of like a table, but they give you the coordinates and you don't have a choice about which coordinates you're going to use because you only have 2. So Colin, what's my formula that I use again to find the slope?
Rise over run.
Okay, so rise over run if we have a picture, but we don't have a picture. So we got to use the same formula we did for the last question.
I don't know.
All right, do you write it down?
No.
No? All right. Can you put your phone away for me? Thank you. Yeah.
Y2 minus Y1
Y2 minus Y1,
over X2 minus X1.
X1. Now we just have to identify which number is which as we fill them in. Let's start with the 8. What out of these 4, what's the 8 going to be?
X1.
Yep, that's going to be your X1. How about the negative 19? Just fine?
Y1.
Perfect, Y1. How about the negative 5? Yep,
X2.
that's your X2. I'm just going to put it up there. And what about the 0?
Y2.
That's your Y2, good. Okay, let's fill them in and see what happens. Okay, Y2 is 0. Y1 is negative 19. Be careful when you fill it in because you got a minus right here from the formula. And you got another minus because it's a negative 19. Yeah.
So it's added.
Yep, so that's going to turn into addition. What are we going to plug in for X2? Yeah, Jake?
Negative 5 minus 8.
Negative 5 minus 8. And as we just said, that minus a minus turns into addition. So we get 19 in the top. And what about negative 5 minus 8? Yeah, perfect. Negative 13. And can you reduce the fraction 19 over negative 13?
No.
No, that doesn't reduce. And if you were to draw that one, would it slant up to the right or down to the right? Yep, this one is going to look something not exactly like that, but it's going to slant down to the right. Yep. Any question on it? Okay, so that's an example of pretty much each type of question that you'll have in the IXLs. Okay, there's 3 of them. One's on tables, one's on graphs, and one's on coordinates. MCAS questions, those are going to touch on slope as well. And yeah. So the only thing they do mention on MCAS question, in example 2, okay, they give you the formula. Let's see. R of t equals 11.6t plus 263.3. Anytime that they give you a number like this, that's the slope. When the number next to the letter is always the slope. Okay? When they give you that, this number is always a rate of change. So when they talk about something increasing, or they talk about an average of something, this number is your average rate of change. And I think I printed that for you. Yeah. You can add in the word average. It's the average rate of change between any 2 points. So keep that in mind for question 2. For question 1, let me give you a hint, because that one's a little tough. For question 1, find the slope. Okay, that's a hint for the first MCAS question. Okay? It's asking you, what is the average speed of the car? Right? Unless you had a little bit of background knowledge, you might not know that, but just find the slope. That's how you do question 1. Question 3. Let's see, we talked about how to do something like that. Question 4 we talked about, and question 5 we also talked about. Okay, so I think you should be okay with the MCAS. The worksheet for this week, it's pretty straightforward. You have questions in a box, and depending on the answer you get, you go one of 2 ways in the box. So if you get -2 for the first answer, you're going to go to the right. If you get -0.5, you're going to go down. And it's possible, sometimes we find a mistake in these. So if you do it and you don't see the answer listed, let me know. And it could be that there's a mistake on the worksheet. Any questions on that? Yes.
Can we go this specific order, or could we start with the worksheet back then?
Yeah, you could do the worksheet if you want. Yeah.
Because I'm going on the standard worksheet.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, as long as you get the MCAS done by Wednesday.
Got
Okay, so
it.
MCAS is due by Wednesday. Yes.
Can I go with my question?
Yeah, as long as you come back up. Yeah.